Hello and welcome to the Radio Scilly video news. Sign up to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Radio Scilly. Scilly's MP has raised the issue of funding of our Sea Link in the House of Commons. The government won't commit to infrastructure projects that haven't started until they're assessed in the autumn. Andrew George tried to gain a commitment to the route partnership from the Transport Minister, Philip Hammond.
Is the Secretary of State aware that in suspending major schemes, that is he aware that in the case of the Isles of Scilly ferry service, his own Maritime and Coast Guard agency may not in fact provide that service with the necessary authority to continue for very much longer, and that as it's been 10 years in preparation, 99% ready to go, and is an absolute lifeline to the Isles of Scilly, will he not reconsider this issue?
In responding, the Transport Secretary told Mr George that he recognised the vital nature of the link to the islands.
This is a scheme that has conditional approval, and we have said that schemes with conditional approval or programme entry will have to await the outcome of the spending review before we are able to confirm them. My understanding is that the Cornwall County Council is still awaiting listed building consent, without which the scheme couldn't proceed anyway, but we are aware of the vital nature of the link to the Isles of Scilly, and we will review this scheme as soon as the spending review has been completed.
A Member of Parliament said he was pleased with that response. In order to remove any potential for conflict, Scilly's MP is now publicly backing the route partnership-supported Option A. That's a scheme that would result in building on of the Battery Rocks, which was highly opposed by objectors and wasn't originally the preferred option of Mr George. He has previously said, though, he'd back any option that was best for the economy of the islands.
What they can't do is they can't make an exception for one project over others. There are a lot of transport projects which have been held up, and having had private conversations with the ministers, with regard to the background to the decision, I mean, I'm content, and I think that the Secretary of State's answer to me helps to reassure me in terms of putting it on the record that they are aware of just how vital the ferry link is, of course, to the community and for the economy of the Isles of Scilly.
Roof tiles set to generate electricity using UV and solar rays have been moved from the roof of properties proposed for new social housing building on the off-islands. There were plans to place the tiles on the roofs of the affordable homes, but now the Duchy of Cornwall's got involved and liaised with Chief Planning Officer Craig Dryden to shift the photovoltaic panels to ground level. Land Steward for the Duchy of Cornwall, Chris Gregory, tells Radio Scilly News that the repositioning of the panels should be more efficient than the roof-mounted variety. But the Duchy of Cornwall tenants' newsletter implied that the involvement of local officers was in line with Prince Charles's views about the attractiveness of such panels. The newsletter refers back to the Prince's model village at Poundbury near Dorchester, where they allege similar actions have taken place and panels have been removed from roofs and placed on the ground. Councillors have discussed a refresh of the regulations concerning burials in the Old Town Cemetery. The rules state that the only people who can be laid to rest there are permanently resident on the islands and whose main home is here when they die, or people who were born here, but they also allow those who have close relatives buried nearby to be buried there as well. It remains an offence to smoke or play games or sport around the cemetery. Members learned you have a guaranteed solo space for 50 years. Chris Hopkins wanted clarification on the matter. Council Chief Technical Officer Neville Gardner told the meeting that it is standard practice with most councils and authorities that the plot remains only yours for that time. Julia Day quipped that there would be very little land left for the living if that were not the case. Members have also agreed the cost of interment. At the weekend it'll be £315 and a weekday service would be cheaper at £263. That comment was met with a reply from Councillor Fred Ticehurst that he's clinging on because of the cost of burial.